Hello and welcome to our 2023 Dermalogica Career Summit. I am honored to bring you this Career Summit today and welcome you to the industry. I know many of you tuning in are just starting out to become a professional skin therapist. Some of you are getting closer to graduation, so wherever you are in your journey of aesthetics, welcome to the industry. Our Career Summit has a jam-packed agenda for you today. We have some wonderful speakers that are going to really just motivate you, inspire you, kickstart your career. We have a couple of guests. We have a guest, Maggie from Associated Skincare Professionals. We have Lola that will speak to you all about resumes and interviewing. We have Stephanie that's really going to get you excited about all the Dermalogica career opportunities. So jam-packed agenda. Of course, you're also going to see a demonstration of nano infusion, which I know everyone's super excited for. So for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, welcome to the Dermalogica family. We are all about education. So our company was founded by this lovely lady right here, Jane Werwind, in 1983. And we were founded as the International Dermal Institute. So we are all about postgraduate education. So really that's what we still are. We want to be your journey after you graduate, but it can start now, which is pretty exciting. So I'm going to take you through some things that you can start doing now to really build up your resume, get that confidence to really get that dream career that you're looking for. And really, Jane started it all in 1983, and then 3 years later, Dermalogica was born. So she decided she wanted to start her own product line. And some of the key things that make Dermalogica different is that we don't use any artificial fragrance or colorants in our products. We are paraben-free. We also use vegan formulas, so no animal testing, no animal byproducts. We're gluten-free. We also are all about sustainable packaging, which I love. So always looking to reduce our carbon footprint any way that we possibly can. So we use recyclable packaging. We are looking to constantly change things up and make sure that we're able to find ways to use refillables, and daily microfoliant comes in a refillable now, which is so exciting. We also have even looked at the pump. So in some of our cleansers, we've removed that piece and we've created a plastic piece so that we're able to have that recyclable as well. So very exciting, all about sustainability, healthy skin, healthy planet. And then of course, our products are professional grade. So when we think about how many therapists we train a year, it's about 100,000 skin therapists every year that we train as a company. So thank you so much for tuning in today. We're so honored to be a part of your journey and really just welcome you to the industry. So I would like to start us off. My name is Sarah Miller, and I'm the National Account Education Manager for Partnership Schools. And I want to start us off by, just talking about starting your journey and your career in this industry. I love this industry because there are so many possibilities. When you start to really look at the careers that you will have access to when you get your aesthetics license, it's pretty incredible. You can end up working on a cruise ship, traveling around the world. You can work for a resort. You can open your own business. You might want to partner your aesthetics career with maybe a different career. Maybe you're into fitness and health and wellness. So there are so many possibilities, and really you should be excited because you're definitely in the right industry. It's constantly growing and changing, and Stephanie's going to be talking a lot about that today with some of the career opportunities that you have. So I would like to challenge all of you to start writing down your dream career. Maybe you have a few things that you're intrigued about. Maybe working on a cruise ship sounds great to you. So start figuring out what you need to do to get there. And that really starts today before you even get your license. So we want to kind of make sure that you're set up for success. And the first way to do that is to kind of choose your adventure. So maybe it's a few things that you've narrowed down to, and you want to create a vision board or start to write down some pros and cons to the different opportunities that you have. Are you thinking of having a multiple big spa that has multiple treatment rooms and multiple employees? Or do you maybe just want to be responsible for yourself and open your own, studio where it's just you performing treatments on your clients? Do you want to go more holistic, or do you want to do more advanced treatments and be in more of a medi-spa? So there's just so many things that you want to think about. Now is really the perfect opportunity to start deciding where you would like to kind of be and really start that adventure and choose that adventure. So what are some of the things that you can do now before you kind of graduate? Well, the first website I would love for all of you to bookmark and make sure that you're very familiar with is pro.dermalogica.com. This is your one-stop shop for all of Dermalogica's resources. We have fact sheets on here, ingredients, webinars, on-demand education. You can book for classes. You can become Dermalogica certified, which I'll talk about in a moment. So really, really must-have website. make sure that you've joined, created an account, so that you can really start experiencing some of the learning. We have an all-new skin study, and skin study is going to have consultation cards that you can print right out, your skin fitness plan for skin analysis. You're able to watch videos on there. It's constantly being added to, so you definitely will have tons of information on there. We also have where you can get certified. So what I love is some of the on-demand education on skin study, you get a certificate as soon as you've finished the course. So it'll be emailed directly to you. So I love that you can really start building up that portfolio, that resume right now before you even get your license. So I challenge all of you tuning in today to become Dermalogica certified before you even graduate. This is a 2-day workshop that can either be taken via Zoom, so streaming, or you can take it on demand. And once you have finalized those 2 classes, you will officially be Dermalogica certified. You'll get a really nice certificate and a pin. And again, it's just a great way to, start your career off with certificates already. Some of my other favorite classes that we have on demand is our Pro Pen on demand course. If you want to learn more about our nano infusion, microneedling, and really about the Pro Pen that Dermalogica has created, definitely take that on demand course. Or the peel, the Pro Power Peel. We have an on-demand course where you can get certified with that course. I've personally taken it. I love it. I love that I get the certificate emailed directly to me, and that is, just something that you can add to your resume. Another website that I would love for you to visit is dermalinstitute.com. This is going to be another great resource for you where we do industry experts, webinars. We have a podcast that's super exciting, so you can listen to the podcast on your way to school. And each episode has a completely different topic, so there really are some great ways for you to continue to learn, even when you're in the car on the way to school. So that Living Skin podcast, definitely check that out. We also have a job board. So if you are looking to get a job, we actually have a job board. It's on the Dermal Institute website that you can look at all the job postings. And then you'll also see on that Dermal Institute website a whole learning library with all kinds of topics and articles that will really help you to just get that knowledge next level and next step. So I cannot wait for you to take the industry by storm. Feel free to tag me at Dermalogica Sarah on Instagram, so when you're taking those classes, I can cheer you on and see those certifications. And now I am super excited to bring up Stephanie Ferrand, our Sales Training and Development Manager, who's going to take you through Dermalogica-specific career paths. She has amazing advice for you, so I'm going to go ahead and bring her up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. Partnership schools have such a special place in my heart. My name is Stephanie Ferrand. I'm our Sales Training and Development Manager here at Dermalogica, and I'm excited to talk to you about some of the career opportunities, expand a little bit on what Sarah talked about. So we have some amazing partners at Dermalogica. If you don't know, we're in Ulta. 1,300 plus growing stores with Ulta. And for those of you that haven't been in an Ulta recently, some of their locations actually have treatment space. So we have Dermalogica trained professional skin therapists within the Ulta space doing Dermalogica treatments. We also have an amazing partnership with Hand and Stone. They have over 500 locations with multiple treatment rooms, so they need multiple PSTs per location. Same thing for Massage Heights. We're in 150 plus locations, 175 plus for Blue Mercury, 550 plus for Salon Centric, and our newest partner, Sephora, has 1,300 doors. So you can see that having knowledge of the product and really understanding Dermalogica is going to open a lot of doors for you before and after you receive your license. So let's talk about some of the skills that these employers are looking for. Communication, this is huge. Obviously, you need to be able to speak to that customer, speak to that client about their skin care needs. Strong communication in person, not text messaging, is so vital to your role. Also, problem solving. I am telling you, you will get doozies from customers that tell you, they're concerned with pigmentation and breakouts and aging, but they can't use anything because they're allergic to these 100 things. But the great thing is that because you're versed in our line, you're going to understand how to better serve that client, that customer, and how to help them and meet their needs. Time management. This is a huge one. So if you're working in a treatment room for whether it's a hand and sewn or a massage heights, you are going to have to stay on a schedule. You're going to have a certain amount of time for each service. You're going to have a certain amount of time for your cleanup, and for your own sanity, as well as keeping your clients happy, you are going to have to manage your time very carefully. Also, learning the front of the house is so valuable to that job. So let's say maybe your dream place to work doesn't have an opening for a skin therapist at the moment, but they might soon. Maybe they're expanding, or maybe someone is going on maternity leave or retiring. If they have an opening for you to start at the front desk and that's an option for you, I highly recommend starting there, because it's so valuable to know how everything operates within that space that you're working. Also, sales. Your sales skills can really assist you in succeeding in this role. It's often the responsibility of both the PST and the front desk to bring in those additional customers and also to move those products. And we do know that that relationship with the client is enhanced so much when you are able to carefully listen, communicate with them, and make a recommendation for something that's just going to enhance the service that you did for them. So you've got an advantage because you're at a Dermalogica partnership school. So you are already building these vital skills that you need to retain these loyal customers, and you're giving them a better return on their investment. And your point of difference is that you are going to know how to identify their needs and how to send them home with the right products. I think we've all made the mistake of running into the sales associate that just wants to sell this one product because there's some kind of prize if they sell 10 that day. Or maybe we self-prescribe and we pick something that looks really cool on the shelf but is absolutely not right for our skin. So as Dermalogica certified skin therapists, you're going to be able to really make those recommendations that keep those clients really happy. And in contrast, employees that lack these skills a lot of times really focus solely on just the turnover of that soft profit right then. So they might oversell that first time customer in a pressury way, or they might upsell the service too much to maybe even some type of service that's not exactly the best fit for the client's skin that day, versus really looking at what the long-term relationship is going to be and really nurturing that relationship. So I also want to talk to you about having a wholesale account with Dermalogica. So maybe you are someone that wants to work for yourself and you have decided that you are an entrepreneur, you're going to do it yourself, you're going to start your skin center, or you're going to rent a suite, whatever that looks like for you. We would love to link arms and partner with you. We have, this part gets me so excited because we have so much to offer that I could talk about it for literally 4 hours, but I won't. I'm just going to give a brief overview, but please talk to your business consultant. If you're new to the school, you may or may not have met them yet, but your business consultant is the person that would be helping you open your account and then working with you after your account's open. So we have minimal packages starting at just $1,000, and your opening order comes with all kinds of amazing things: testers, collateral, marketing things. We have client wraps, we have Dermalogica branded blankets, we have so much. We also offer something called Derm Dollars. So Derm Dollars are our point system here at Dermalogica. So you're earning basically dollars, which are kind of like points, every time you make that purchase, which is really kind of unheard of when you're also paying wholesale prices. So with those Derm Dollars, you can purchase so much to support your business. And then we also have Derm Circle. So as your business grows, as your business comes to different tiers, as you and your business consultant, kind of evolve your business and keep growing it, you're going to qualify for different perks with us. It could be new testers, it could be a product credit voucher, which is literally cash for you to use on product in the following year. So we have so much to offer there with Derm Circle. Also, education support. Education is so important in this industry. And as a Dermalogica partner, you have access to all of our Dermalogica classes and all of the fees are waived for you. So it's so important because it's going to be a challenge to take that time away from the treatment room to get into those classes. So I found it really helpful to also know in the back of my mind that I wasn't only going to be taking time away from my clients, I wasn't also having to shell out an additional fee for my classes that I was taking. And then you're going to have access to our Pro Learning Hub and our PST events, which is so valuable. If you haven't been on the Pro Learning Hub yet, please head over there and make yourself a login. There is a lot that you have access to even as a student. And our PST events, we do them live and we do them streaming. They're absolutely incredible. And then we also have our Dermalogica locator service. So the way that works is that when you have an account with us, when someone in your area goes on dermalogica.com and pops in their zip code, if you are within the mile search radius that they pop into that search bar, all of your information about your business is going to come up. So we have a really incredible platform to help drive new clients to your door. And then Dermalogica services. We have the most educated, experienced, just phenomenal team of PSTs that come together to create these services. ProCalm, ProClear, Nano Infusion. You don't have to put all of these on your menu, but you can choose which ones you would like to have. And we have all of the protocols, we have all the products that you need to have an extremely professional treatment in your treatment room. So some things to consider. I wanted to share this slide. This is actually a list from my boss, who is an incredible person in this industry, our head of sales, Diana Dennett. She had one of the top spas in San Francisco, and she was owner, running the whole thing herself. She's also licensed, and she had this list of things that she wished she would have known before she jumped into that business. So I wanted to share that with you. So the first is have your business plan. So what does your business plan look like? Your business plan looks like laying out your potential costs. So not just your rent and your products, but your cleaning. Maybe you're going to use an auto text service. Are you going to use a credit card processor? There's so many different things to think about as far as your costs. Get out your Excel spreadsheet or find an app that works for you to start breaking those down so you know what you're looking at and you're not blindsided. On that thread, also anticipate your challenges. Maybe you were gifted a hand-me-down steamer and a hand-me-down massage table, and you know that probably within the first 24 months of your business, you're going to have to replace those. So anticipating those challenges, cost of equipment, your repairs, your maintenance, that is something that comes into play. Also, towels do cost a lot. When you want your quality towels, especially if you're someone who is going to use a service that sanitizes, folds them, and brings them back to you, it is an expense. So things to think about. And your time does cost money. So if you're the person that's doing all the services, you have your services, you also are your own customer service management. If you're a single entrepreneur PST and you're running your whole business, when you get those amazing texts from your clients that say, I don't know what you did to my skin yesterday, I'm obsessed with it, can you remind me how to use the products that I purchased? Those are things that you're going to have to respond to. You're going to be managing that aspect of the customer service, not just when the customer's in front of you. You're also going to be your best advocate for driving awareness. You are your own brand. So you need to talk about yourself. You need to get out there on social media, whatever you can do to drive that awareness of your business. Housekeeping, are you going to pay someone to clean? Is that something that you're going to do every night or every morning before you start your clients or end your day? Bookkeeping, you have confirmation calls. There are really great tech services that can do this for you automatically, but these are just all things to really consider as you're looking at opening your business. And then determining your service menu. So this is something that I really love, is the advice of don't try to be everything for everyone. Because we know that if you have a service menu that's 4 pages long, the client is going to get overwhelmed and think, oh, you know what, I'll figure this out later. I'm not sure what I need. And then they're on to the next thing and they've forgotten about it. So keep your service menu easy to read, clear, concise. Figure out what you're most excited about. Is it lumen fusion? Is it doing peels? Is it acne treatments? So whatever you're most excited about, get really good at that, be the best at that, and kind of tailor your menu around that. And then also, every product that you purchase, whether it is a back bar product or a retail product, does need to drive that business for you. So for example, maybe you've just graduated, you've got that license in your hand, you're so excited, and you are opening your Dermalogica account and you want to buy every single professional product we have, because hello, why wouldn't you? I would say I understand your excitement, but also caution you to think maybe, oh, you know what? As I start my journey, I'm going to be offering Nano Infusion, I'm going to be offering Pro Bright and Pro Clear. Maybe those are the 3 treatments that you're starting with. So then buy your back bar, buy the products that make sense, that are for those treatments. And then as you start to create that cash flow and turn that product into cash, then you can start to add to your back bar. And then attracting your customers. Have a plan for this. I hate to tell you, but just because you open the doors to your suite does not mean people will be lining up in the hallways. You have to get the word out about where you are, who you are, what you offer, what your brand is. So your location is really important. Think about where you're gonna be. If you're renting a suite, think about who your neighbors are gonna be on either side of you. If you have a very outgoing hairstylist on one side and maybe someone else that does tattooing on the other, maybe that's not the perfect spot for a place where you would like to have a little bit more zen and a little bit more quiet. Think about your location. Think about the parking. Think about what the ease is going to be for your customers as they come to see you. There's mommy groups that you can reach out to, that you can drop samples off. There's also fitness clubs that are a great way to get started. Sometimes small hotels in your area will be looking for referrals if they don't have their own spa. They like to know of a few great estheticians or massage therapists close by that they can refer to. Also, chamber events are a great way to connect with your local community and local businesses. Maybe you partner with someone who makes cupcakes and you do a co-branded event where people get a mini treatment and cupcakes that match a new innovation product. It's a win-win for both of you. So that co-branding can really be something to think about. So think big for your business. Think, where do you want to go? Do you want to own a chain? Do you want to manage other PSTs? Dream all those big dreams, but start small. Start where you're at. Don't overextend yourself with your budget so that you can take those steps to get to that big goal. And then I wanted to show this to really kind of give you an idea of what happens a lot of times when people go into business for themselves. So as a new PST, I'm thinking, I'm gonna do 40 hours a week of services and my charge is $100 an hour. So $4,000 a week sounds pretty good. But then as you move into your business, you start to realize, oh, actually, I probably only have about 20 hours a week that I'm available for services because I need to also spend some time on social media, probably a couple hours a day. I need to manage my schedule. I need to answer all those texts that are coming in and asking, when can I see you? Can you squeeze me in today? What do you have next week? All of that takes time. You've got your housekeeping, you've got your finances to think about, and then networking. You do need time to get yourself out there, whether it's at the farmer's market or at a local event, anything like that where you can show your face and represent your own brand is huge for your business. So this is really something to think about so that you're not surprised, when you go to work for yourself, like, oh, I didn't think about all these other things I need to do. So considering all this, you really need to work with a brand that supports you in order to make your life easier and make your business more successful. I can tell you that I am always so impressed with our marketing team. They spend hours and hours of a team of highly talented people with our products using different lighting and different sounds and all kinds of diverse models. And you have access to all of that imagery, all of our posts, all of that is available for you at absolutely no charge when you have an account with us. So we make your social media life much easier. Think about those kind of things when you are looking at what brand to partner with. So as you align yourself with businesses that will support your mission, it is going to make starting your business a lot more smooth. And I again just want to encourage you to link arms with your business consultant, make friends with them, ask them lots of questions because they have done this for so many new PSTs and they know the industry, they know how to help you get started, and I just am so excited to welcome you to the best industry on the planet. And it's my great pleasure to welcome up our next presenter, Lola, who is from our HR team, and she's going to chat with you about nailing your interview. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here. My name is Lola Russick. I am the Talent Acquisition Business Partner here at Dermalogica. What do? I find great talent like yourself to come in and work here at Dermalogica. So what I'm going to chat with you about today is really understanding and nailing your interview for a changing industry. So what are we going to get into? We're going to get into how you're going to build a modern resume. I don't think that individuals know how important a resume is these days. And I'm here to tell you, a resume is extremely important. It is you on paper. I don't know you, recruiters don't know who you are, so all we know is what's in front of us. It's a single piece of paper that is telling us all about you. So I want to support you in identifying how to design the perfect resume. And what's really important is once you've already established a really strong resume, you can use that as a template to move forward in other opportunities as you move forward in your journey. So let's just get a really strong template for you so that you'll know moving forward you're going in the right direction. So the anatomy of a perfect resume. Let's talk about that. Design matters. So you don't want to go overboard with, decorating it or putting your picture on it or making it smell pretty or a certain color. That's not necessary. Keep it very simple. You want to make sure that you're using a lot of space. I like to call that real estate. It's a part of what's on your resume that is important. So use the real estate that you have, all right? So design doesn't necessarily matter. You don't need a lot of fluff, promise you. Secondly, please be reachable. Make it easy for recruiters to reach out to you by providing your contact info near the header. You don't have to put your address on there. I know that people don't like to give out their personal information, and that's okay. But what we do want to do is we want to be able to reach you. So please put a phone number on there or an email that is good for you so we can reach you quickly. Next, show all of your skills. Show off. This is your time to toot your own horn, is what I like to say. So we want to, don't make recruiters hunt for the most critical information on your resume. Let it be there. Include a table of your key soft and hard skills up at the top. Make sure your highlighted skills show that you're a good fit for the job. And all the better is if these are keywords for the job. So if you have a job description in front of you and there are keywords that they're looking for, I would absolutely recommend putting those in your resume. It's going to speak to me a lot quicker than if I have to search for them. So highlight them, show them off, toot your own horn. What's next? Quantify your experience. So what is quantifying your experience? Whenever you can use concrete data points, if you can sprinkle numbers in there, it truly, really helps a recruiter with the scope and context of your work, demonstrates how you contribute to the bottom line. So when you list your experience, you can tell actually a story at that time where it talks about what you created, what did it, what was it part of the organization and what did it result in? So you always want to make sure that you're quantifying your experience, throw numbers in there, sprinkle them out throughout the resume so that I can see what you've done and how many people or accounts or clients that you've worked with. Really important. Next, you're going to include other positions. So don't be afraid to include positions that aren't directly related to this position. Maybe you were in customer care prior. Maybe you were working in retail and you were chatting with individuals and approaching them. All of your career past is very important for your career future. So don't be afraid to put that on there, especially if it's relevant for that opportunity, where you can kind of mesh it in with an example of what you did, where else you worked, but also you can bring that into your current position. And then get the grade. Many jobs require degrees or certifications. So make sure to list if you like your GPA. If you want, it's optional, but if you want to put that in there, it may be worth including, especially if you're a recent grad and you have high marks. Why not? Be proud. And then number 8 is the extra stuff. So if you have extra space, you can add some color to your resume with a short catch-all, additional experiences. At the section, I have a resume that shows, my highlighted information, but I do have a bottom part that says other opportunities that I've worked at, because maybe it will spark someone to ask more questions. And then lastly, keep it concise. Limit your resume to 1 to 2 pages at the most. I know a lot of individuals are going, oh, I've been told I can only have 1 page on my resume. Not true. It's okay if you've been working out in the career field for a while and you need to open it up to a 2nd page, it's okay. Just remember, utilize your real estate on your resume wisely. All right, well, let's just keep on going. So here are some pro tips. I think I mentioned a few, but here's some really great pro tips for your resume. Presentable and easy to follow. Be consistent in your format and content. That includes spacing, font size, italics. If you're going to bold one thing, then you should bold all of them. Be consistent. I do look at a resume, and if it doesn't match, it kind of throws me off a little bit, because I'm looking for detail. I'm looking for someone who's organized and has attention to detail. So make it presentable and easy to follow. Tailor your resume. Tailoring your resume, a great resume should be tailored to the job and type of position that you are applying for. You don't have to change every little detail, but I want it to speak to me. When I'm looking at a resume, when a recruiter is looking at a resume, we really take less than a minute, if even that, to really peruse through your resume and look for highlights and keywords that are part of what we're looking for in this person. So do yourself a favor, be specific, tailor your resume, take time to personalize your skills and experience to the job description that you are applying for. I've had so many candidates that have applied for a position that had nothing to do with what they were looking for, and I was like, they must have a little bit of extra time on their hands. Don't we wish we all had that? Anyway, so tailor your resume. And then, of course, be specific. Employers need to understand what you've done and accomplished. Here's an example. So, worked with employees in a restaurant setting. You recruited, hired, trained, and supervised more than 20 employees in a restaurant with $2 million in annual sales. So both of these phrases could describe the same person, but the details and specifics in example B will be more likely to grab an employee's attention. So make sure that you are very specific than being broad. I've seen some resumes that leave me hanging. They just give me a one-line sentence. It doesn't really tell me much about what they did there. It just gives me kind of a job description bullet point, and I don't need that. So when you're doing your resume, let's be very specific in opening up what you've done, how you did it, and what was the accomplishment. What did it result in? That's what I'm looking for, a story. So we want to use action verbs. What's an action verb? An action verb is avoid phrases like responsible for. Instead, use action verbs resolved, created, developed. User questions as part of as an IT help desk, serving 4,000 students. So, and staff. So it's giving me action verbs. It's telling me what I did. So in addition, action verb examples could be, organized, coordinated, led, presented. Now, if you're still currently at that company, then you wouldn't use action verbs. You would actually say, I guess they're still action verbs, but you're going to be saying create, develop. So you're just going to take that past tense off of there. But in the future, when you're moving forward in your career, you absolutely want to use created, developed, and so on. And so what's next? Stand out with a cover letter. I love a good cover letter. I love me a good cover letter. I read them. They get me excited. It tells me a little story about who you are and why you applied for this position. I really feel like cover letters are really good for individuals that are actually just starting to get into this field. Maybe I've had some individuals who had completely different backgrounds, so they had to explain why they pivoted the narrative in their career journey. So a cover letter, a resume, they may tell me, well, I don't understand why this person is applying for a skin therapist opportunity when in the past they were a teacher or something of that nature, but what I want to see them do is give me a cover letter as to why they're changing the narrative now. Why are they pivoting in their career? I think it's fantastic if they're moving forward and trying something new, but I need to know that in a cover letter is a great way to do that. Doesn't need to be really long, doesn't need to be, 2 pages, something just simple, sweet, quick, and to the point. That's what a cover letter is. And then lastly, please proofread. Proofread. I'm going to say it one more time. Proofread. Your resume, that would be a grammatical error right there. Your resume needs to be grammatically perfect, really perfect, seriously. And if it isn't, employers, as a recruiter, you know what? I kind of read between the lines. I think to myself, gosh, this person's not really detail-oriented. This person's not taking the time to slow down. And this is you on paper. So once again, you get one shot, right? So we want to make sure that resume, which is your one shot, is put together and perfected before you send it out to prospective employers. So super important to remember that. All right, moving right along. So now we're getting into the actual interview. So we prepped before it, made sure our resume looks good, it's grammatically correct, it looks, well put together, I've used the right real estate. And now we're getting into points of how to nail the interview. All right. So before the interview, there are a few things that you should really think about doing. For example, ask questions, research the company. It's the first thing I tell someone to do is take the time to do some research. Give yourself some time to learn about the founder. I know I took time to learn about our amazing founder. It's a true rags to riches story, and I'm super proud to be a part of this journey. But I did my research before. I realized that there was the International Dermal Institute before Dermalogica was born. So I think it's really important to do the research on the company and the individuals that you are taking the time to connect with, the individuals that you're interviewing with. It's okay, go ahead and Google them. Go ahead and look them up on LinkedIn. Find out who they are. You deserve that as well. So I would definitely make sure you research the company and the people you're interviewing with. Secondly, do a quick study of the job description. When someone comes into an interview with me and they have no idea what part of the job that they're really going to be good at, or they forget, they're like, oh, can you send me the job description again? I forgot what I'm applying for. That doesn't leave me feeling that this person is taking the time and effort to really want to be a part of this company. So what I would highly advise you to do is make sure that you study the job description before going even into the interview. All right. Next, what I would do is practice your speaking voice and your body language. No one wants to walk into an interview or be a part of an interview where someone is, this is just body language alone. This is like telling me that you don't even want to be there. So, you know what? Just make sure you're cleaned up and you're proud and you're ready, and your body language and your speaking voice is just as confident as you want that to be. It's a great way to start. So make sure that you practice in front of a mirror, maybe practice in front of your family. It's okay. It's okay to do that. So that's very important. Next, practice your answers to common interview questions. So I'm sure you can, somewhere on the internet, because there's everything on the internet now, you can go on and you can Google like 4 or 5 of questions that you should ask in an interview. And truly, maybe make it really 3 important questions that you're gonna ask the interviewee, whether it's about themselves, whether it's about the job, whether it's about your piece of what you're gonna bring to the table. I think it's really important to get involved in the questions as well. And you can ask about the company, you can ask about the culture. That seems to be a favorite that I always get. Tell me about the company culture. So I always go into who we are and how we got here and our leaders and all that good stuff. So I think it's always really important to really be able to invest in not only the time that you're going to spend there, but on knowing who the company and the culture is. Let's see, now be prepared with examples of your work. I love it when an individual comes to me and says, when I was at X, Y, and Z company, I did this, and I know that I'm going to be able to bring that same kind of synergy to whatever company it is, Dermalogica. So I would be prepared with examples, of, especially after doing a quick study of the job description, you'll know what kind of questions that you're gonna ask once you get there, and you're gonna give examples of what you've done. That's gonna go, oh, while I worked at this company, I did X, Y, and Z, which is part of the job description. So I'm like, okay, great. Now I know that this talent already has a lot of what we're looking for. And then plan your interview attire the night before. It's really important to dress for success. I know that, we tend to like to live in more casual clothing, and that's okay too, but I think for an interview, make sure you're in your best. Make sure it's wrinkle-free, you look great, you feel great, right? So please make sure that you plan your interview attire the night before. If it's an in-person, of course, you want to be dressed from head to toe. You want to make sure you feel good, you look good, because then everything just seems to flow for you. And then prepare several questions. So you want to have questions yourself. And I don't mean questions like, oh, what hours will I be working? Or what kind of insurance plan do you have? When you're actually interviewing with the hiring manager, now is the time to be able to ask whatever questions you want that you know are going to lead to a proper decision for both parties involved. So take the time to set aside 2 or 3 questions that you know are going to be a part of learning more about your future. All right. Here we are. Now we're ready for the interview. Yes, we are. And I think it's really important to arrive on time. Be early if you can. Now, I have had some individuals who've been 30, 45 minutes early, and that's, we don't need you there that early, but maybe get there in maybe 10, 15 minutes early. What it's going to do, it's going to prep you to just kind of take a deep breath, be ready, know what you're going to chat about. You're not flustered. You're not trying to figure out, where do I park? Who do I ask for? What I've done in the past, when I've had an important engagement that was coming up, such as an interview, I always do a dry run. I always go by the company, and you don't have to do this, but I think it's really important that that way you know exactly where you're going, you know where you're going to park, you know who you're going to ask for. That will take away some of that anxiety of already what you're going to be faced with. So do yourself a favor, arrive on time or early. Bring an extra copy of your resume. It's okay. I think it's fabulous. I mean, we may not need it, but just in that event that maybe I forgot it. Maybe I was running around and I forgot your resume. Then you can just hand them a fresh copy of your resume. So always bring that. I said this earlier and I'll say it again. Take a really deep breath. It's okay. And the way I look at it is a two-way street. We may have the vehicle that you want to drive in, but you're the driver of that vehicle. So I'm looking for a good driver just as much as you're looking for reliable transportation. So take a deep breath before you get into your interview and know that you are valuable and you're valued and that we're looking forward to getting to know you. I try to keep my interviews casual, kind, and really make it about just getting to know each other. So take a deep breath. And then strike a pose, strike a power pose. What makes you feel good is stand up straight, feel good, strike a pose, be ready. Like you are ready and you know it. So so you can at least show it. And then smile and introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Lola and I'm so excited to be here. So you know what, we're looking for that connection. So don't be afraid. Toot your own horn, now's the time. All right, so now, because we are in a time of video interviews, I still do them every day. I want to give you pro tips on video interviews as well. Make sure you check your technology. Make sure that you know how to upload whatever platform the company is using. We use MS Teams. I always let the person know. I'm going to send you the link. Make sure you can load it up. If you want to do a practice run with me, we can do that as well. But just make sure that your technology works. Have good lighting. I think it's important that you're in a kind of a quiet area that doesn't have a lot of distraction behind you. It's great if it's a white wall, if you can find a place somewhere in the corner of your home that is quiet and non-distracting. So have good lighting, professional background, whether it's a beautiful photo or picture in the background, or maybe it's just a white wall is fine. I have had interviews that are very distracting because maybe somebody has a lot in the background that I'm just engaging in. I had one person that was in their room and they had their closet door open, lots of clothes just falling out. And that took me away from being present to my interview because I was so astonished by all the clothes that were in the background. So just make sure you're in a well-lit and well aesthetically pleasing background. Quiet space. We all live, in areas that there might be, construction going on, or the gardeners. I know every Wednesday when I'm home, there's gardeners that come by, so I have to make sure I'm closing up my doors. So maybe pick a time that that's going to be somewhat quiet. There's not a lot of people in the house. As much as I love animals, gosh, do I love animals. But when and it's fun to see the kitty running across, the camera, but I would probably, in their first time interview, probably just, make sure it's quiet and there's no distractions. Turn off notifications, your phone, whatever you have that might give you a notification, because that kind of, it interrupts your flow. Make sure you have a good internet connection. I know that at times you just never know with technology, so make sure that internet connection is good. Once again, here we are back at dressing for an interview, so make sure you have appropriate clothing. I know because we're on a video, online video interview that we may think, it can be a little bit more casual. It's not. It's really not. So make sure that if you're at least dressed from waist up and you look great. And so just make sure that, you're ready for an interview, professional interview. Be on time, look in the camera, and just maintain your focus. Make sure that you're staying present. All right, trade test skills. You also want to make sure, I want to get too far ahead, for your trade test skills that you are in an area that once again is quiet, that you have practiced your skill set, you know where all your product is, you know what motions you're going to use. Once again, you want to be set up when there is a trade test, a skill test that's going to go on, that it's the same as a regular interview. Same points go with a trade test skills. So make sure you're well prepared. Deep breath once again, and you know what you're getting yourself into when you're doing a trade test skills. That you just make sure that you have everything ready to go. And lastly, some final advice. So references. You want to make sure that your references have supportive, professional references available on request. I do call every reference. I typically like to get 2 strong references back. So please make sure that you put references on there and that these individuals are someone that you worked with or that has known you for a long time and knows how you work. Second, voicemail, email. Listen to your voicemail. Check your spam email. Please check your spam email, because so many times I have sent out correspondence to a candidate that we want to make an offer, I want to get connected with them, and they didn't get my email because it went to spam. So please check your voicemails. Please make sure your voicemail is not full. There have been quite a few times when I've actually called individuals and their voicemail is not set up or it's too full for me to leave a message. So make sure that your voicemail is ready to go. Social pages. So if you are part of social media, everyone is these days, you may want to make sure it's either private or that it's going to tell a good story about you and your lifestyle. Just something to think about. And then how about Googling yourself? I've Googled myself a few times and I am amazed at what comes up. So maybe take some time to Google yourself and make sure you're in the right type of a light. Although, I think that, when you Google yourself, it gives you an idea of also where you've been and what you've seen and what you've done. So just make sure when you Google yourself, it's something that you do want to see. Thank you email. A thank you email. A thank you email is so incredibly important. I had someone ask me the other day, do we no longer do thank you emails? And I'm like, no, we do. So I always make sure that once you've ended an interview, it could be minutes later, it could be a couple hours later, but always send a thank you email. It really shows you care, you're interested. It doesn't need to be long. It could just be like, thank you so much for your valuable time. I'm extremely interested in this opportunity. I know I will be beneficial to the company, and I can't wait to hear about next steps. Something as simple as that. And then lastly, make sure that you follow up. So I know some individuals are like, oh, should I call the recruiter? I don't know. I don't want to bother them. Go for it. It's okay. Follow up with them. We want to. We forget. Unfortunately, we have more going on. So please feel free to follow up with us. I really want you all to understand that difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. So I'm here to support you. If you ever need some advice, further advice about your resume or how to interview, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Otherwise, I'm super excited to hear about your journey and your career path and how it all goes. Thank you so much. And now we're going to bring Sarah back up to talk about nano.
Thank you so much, Lola and Stephanie. Both of those segments were fantastic. There were so many good tips. I hope that you all took lots of notes for really nailing your interviews and creating that resume and just all of the possibilities we have for careers. It's pretty incredible. So now I'm excited to take you through our next portion of our Career Summit today, which is all about our Pro Pen and Nano Infusion. So I know you've all been waiting to see the demonstration, so that will be coming shortly. So nano infusion, this is such a popular treatment right now. So maybe you haven't heard of it yet or you're interested in getting certified. Well, we have a brand new alumni workshop just for you. This just recently launched. So you can actually request that one of the Dermalogica instructors come into your school and actually teach you nano infusion. So you can get certified. You can purchase the Pro Pen kit through your school. So if you are interested in becoming Nano Infusion certified, definitely get with your business consultant or talk to your school about bringing in this wonderful alumni workshop. So very exciting. It's a 3-hour workshop that includes hands-on. It includes your kit. The kit is going to come with, of course, the Pro Pen, which we're going to be introduced to in a moment, cartridges, product to really work and infuse into the skin. So really helping you to really upgrade those services and advance your treatment room. So definitely check that out if you're interested in the alumni workshop. So just a sneak peek of what's included in that alumni workshop is going to be our Pro Pen. So in that 3-hour workshop, you're gonna learn all about the Pro Pen. What is the Pro Pen? Pro Pen is Dermalogica's first professional device that features nano infusion and microneedling all in one. So very exciting. This has a wide variety of personalization and customization, and just the actual design we're gonna talk about briefly is just the best in the industry. So many of you might be thinking, what is nano infusion? What is the Pro Pen? So nano infusion goes by a lot of different names. You've maybe heard it called microneedling. You've maybe heard it called nano needling or nano infusion, microexfoliation, nano resurfacing. I've heard a lot of different names as I'm looking through Instagram, but we call it nano infusion because it's a non-invasive procedure. So that's really the clear difference between microneedling and nano infusion. We're not actually puncturing the skin. So it's non-invasive. It uses this pen-style tool and nano tips instead of needles. When we are nano infusing, we're using microscopic hair-like cones, and they're usually formed of either silicone or stainless steel. So this is a really great service for clients that don't want a lot of downtime. Maybe they don't want, maybe they're contraindicated to microneedling, but they're still looking for some of those results. This is going to immediately improve skin texture, really boost hydration, and of course can be customized based on the products that you select. So there are many pens on the market, and I wanted to just highlight some of the Pro Pen differences for you today, because the Pro Pen is really something that we have researched and created for the best of the best. So of course, the fact that it offers both microneedling and nano infusion is one benefit that makes it really able to be personalized and customized to all of your client's skin. We also are all about expertise. So we really partnered with the best in the industry to test this this device to make sure that it was exactly what the professional skin therapist needs. So I just love the way it feels in your hands, the weight of it, the ergonomic design, everything about it is just that next level. So high standards when it comes to sanitation and sterilization, and very cost effective. So that's definitely something you want to look at. I know that's something Stephanie mentioned in her presentation is, when you are starting your own business, you really have to look at costs. So just the fact that our cartridges and our pen are going to be a lot more cost effective than anything else on the market is going to be more money in your pocket as the professional. Another thing that we have launched to really go with our Pro Pen is a brand new authorization form. So this can be downloaded on the Skin Study. So if you go to pro.dermalogica.com and go to Skin Study, you can actually print these off and start working with them now while you're still in school. This covers all of those advanced services that you may be looking into offering. Microdermabrasion mixed with peels, microneedling, nano-infusion, all of those more advanced services. So this will make sure you're covered for all those treatments that you are looking to bring in. So now I'm super excited to pass over to Master Instructor LaDawn, who is going to take you through a wonderful demonstration of nano-infusion featuring the Dermalogica Pro Pen. Over to you, LaDawn.
Thank you, Sarah. So in order for us to kind of get in what nano-infusion is, let's first differentiate that from microneedling. So with microneedling, you do have puncturing of the skin. You're going to have those microneedles, that's on the cartridge tip, and those needles are actually going to puncture directly through the epidermis and into the dermis. So there you can achieve somewhat of a pinpoint bleeding effect, depending on how deep you're going with those needles into the skin. With microinfusion, we won't be doing any of that. So as you can see here on screen, we have two cartridges here at Dermalogica that fit directly into the Pro Pen to perform microinfusion. The first cartridge you see here on the left-hand side is a larger cartridge. It has about 100 kind of cone-shaped little protrusions on the tip of that metal cartridge. And when using the Dermalogica Pro Pen, those protrusions simply stamp onto the surface of the skin. You don't get any penetration like you would with the needling. You get gentle stabbing onto the skin and kind of a vibration mode right onto the skin. The smaller cartridge you see there is for the more intricate areas. So if you're working around or even on the lips and then around the eyes, you would switch over to that small, more intricate cartridge. On the first cartridge, you have about 100 cone-shaped protrusions. On the second cartridge, you have about 39. So all of your benefits, you're going to get increased circulation in the skin. You're going to get enhanced desquamation, exfoliation of the skin. And that will just encourage cellular turnover in the skin. And of course, if we're using it to infuse our serums, you're going to get product penetration. So we have quite a bit of products that can be infused into the skin using the nano infusion with the Dermalogica Pro Pen. When we're looking here on the screen, we can see that we can work exfoliants into the skin using the Dermalogica Pro Pen with nano infusion. So we can use our multivitamin power exfoliant. We can use our exfoliant accelerator 35, and we can stamp those exfoliants right onto the surface of the skin to help increase that cell turnover. If we're not needing to use exfoliants within our treatment, or if we elect not to because of your prior skin assessment, what you can use alternatively are our ion active serums. We're featuring 4 here that you can use. We have our Biolumin C for someone who may be experiencing a little bit of aging. You want to get hydration in there, and then all the benefits of vitamin C, the firming and lifting effects as well. Maybe if they have a little bit of breakout on the skin, you might want to infuse some hyaluronic acid into the skin. If they have a little bit of breakout, it's a niacinamide you want to work. Hyaluronic acid is going to be for that hydration in the skin. And then finally, we have the Power Bright. Straight on, hyperpigmentation into the skin, evening out the skin tone. You can nano that Power Bright serum directly into the skin. And then finally, here to the right, we have our Pro Restore. Some of you may have experienced demos done with Pro Restores at your location. Pro Restore is an awesome pro serum that can be used or applied prior to a treatment, especially a micro injury treatment. in our doctor's office, they're using it prior to microneedling. But here with nano infusion, you can apply it prior to the nano infusion, a thin layer. You can use it during nano infusion and then applying after. So you never have that risk of over exfoliation on the skin, and you also have those accelerated healing and skin strengthening properties. Now what I like to do is take you into the treatment room. Let's look at nano infusion hands-on. Fantastic. So let's get into nano infusion in the treatment room. We have our Dermalogica Pro Pen. This is what we're going to be working with today. Our Dermalogica Pro Pen has a few functions. We have the protrusion ring here. Our protrusion ring is fully adjustable from 0.2 to all the way up to a 1.5. So it could also be used for more progressive treatments, say as a medical esthetician. Today we're going to be adjusting our protrusion ring. I'll turn that around here. We're going to be adjusting it to about a 0.6 to be using it on Andrea's skin, our lovely models. We also have a power button here at the bottom. By the way, this pen can be used wireless. We have our wireless battery in, or it can be used wired, just with a different battery attachment at the bottom, or a power attachment at the bottom. To turn on the Pro Pen, we're going to just go ahead and press that Pro Pen power button at the bottom, and then you can give it a tap at the bottom to adjust the speed. Okay, the speed determines how quickly our cartridge tip is going to tap or stamp onto the surface of the skin. So here we have our cartridge, and all we need to do to open the cartridge is just peel that cartridge open, and we have our cartridge here that fits snug right onto the tip. We're going to go ahead and align the cartridge with the grooves on the top of the Pro Pen, and then we're going to give it a twist, a little tug to make sure it's secured, and we can remove the protective cap. Next, what we need to do is make sure we have a serum on Andrea's skin. Rather than using exfoliation today for this demo, we're going to show you how to use the Pro Pen with hyaluronic acid ion active serum. So first, I'm going to take about an almond size of the hyaluronic acid serum, and I'm going to apply it all over Andrea's face. This ensures that I have a nice even layer of our ion active serum on the skin even before I get started. Now, if the skin starts to absorb the ion active serum before I get done with the entire face, I can always apply a little bit more serum to the skin. And to do that, I'm just going to add a little bit of serum into my mixing cup here, so I'll have that handy while I am working. The Dermalogica method for using the Pro Pen tells us that we should start at the temple, and we're going to work methodically across the skin so that we make sure we cover every area of the skin, not overlapping, and we get done within a timely manner, because we want to move at a good pace to ensure that we're keeping within our treatment time while we're working. So I have my pen on, I have my speed set to a 3. Remember, the speed is how quickly that metal plate is going to tap onto the skin. While I'm working on Andrea's skin, I want to make sure to hold it taut. And I'm going to first move vertically across the skin, keeping the tip of the skin flush with Andrea's skin while I'm working. And to make sure I have a thorough application, we want to cross-hatch attach across the skin, just as you would do like in a microdermabrasion treatment. Again, still holding that skin taut. I can also move my fingers to adjust where I'm holding the skin taut so that I can get a great treatment on the skin. If I need to add more serum, I can either use a cotton swab or I can add that in directly with my finger like I am doing here. And I want to continue using that same method, kind of snaking across the skin, meeting the second line where I left off at the first line there. Okay? And again, moving at a good pace, making sure that I don't miss any sections across the skin, and I'm not moving too fast. Moving too fast means I'm getting less exfoliation in that section. Moving too slow means I'm getting way more than maybe I would have anticipated in that section. If you have an area where you would like to go over, maybe there's a lot of dead skin cell buildup there, you can cross-hatch over that area again. If I cross-hatch over the same section, this would just count as a second pass over the skin, okay? So a complete hashtag or crosshatch counts as a pass. All right, as we're working, we want to make sure we turn our client's head to keep the work in front of us. That way we're not leaning over to the side, putting that extra stress on our back as we're working. So as I progress across the forehead, you see I still have the tip of that pin flush with Andrea's skin. And let's see, for this one, I'm going to try to adjust my grip here just to make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'll travel to the left on this one. All right, perfect. So now from here, now that I'm at the center of the forehead, let's go ahead and work on her nose. Remember, the nose is a little more sensitive area, and this pin does have a vibrating sensation as you're using it. So you might get a little sneeze, or you might get a little chuckle from your client as you're working across the nose area. So I'm gonna stretch her cheek here to get to the nose. You can also try just stretching the nose here with your thumb and index finger if you like, if that works better for you. But the cheek works pretty good for me when I'm working across Andrea's skin. And I'm going to use that same S pattern or that snaking motion across the skin, just to make sure I've covered every area of the nose. So now I'm going to stretch the nose on either side, and I'm going to work across the bridge of the nose. Remember, it's vibrating, so they're going to feel that sensation of the pin as they work, or as we work, over the tip of that nose. Stretch the skin there, and I'm going to progress down the other side of the nose. All right, so now that I'm at the cheek, let's go ahead and apply a little more serum on this cheek area, and we'll go ahead and continue on to the right side of the face. Gotta make sure we stretch and work over the upper lip here, still using that Dermalogica method, which is the S pattern or the snaking across the skin. And we're going to work over the cheek here. You'll notice I'm stopping right at that orbital bone, just to make sure we don't go beyond that orbital bone. The eye is very delicate tissue around it. So we want to make sure that if we're going to work around the eye area, we switch to that other cartridge that I talked about a little bit earlier, the smaller nano cartridge there that has only the 49 tip cones on it. That one will give us more working power because it's more gentler around that area, or more gentle around that area. We can work around that area and not worry about inducing any sensitivity in the eye area. All right, remember, right in front of the ears is one of those areas where we can get a lot of congestion, sometimes comedones in this area. So don't forget to work that area right in front of the ear. And finally, we want to finish up the side of the face. We'll add a little more serum to that there. Make sure you do not over add your serum, because what will happen is it can collect in the tip of your cartridge, and you will hear kind of like a more wet, you'll hear the serum moving around in the tip of that cartridge. All right, so we're going to go over the chin there. You'll notice Andrea tucked her lip. You can either have your client tuck the lip or pull down on the chin, just as I've shown you here. And then a corner of the lip, I just gently flatten out that area to work around the corner of the mouth here. Or you can have your client open the mouth, whatever is more comfortable for them for stretching out that area. Just applying more serum to continue on down towards the jawline. So lower cheek and down towards the jawline is where I'm working now. And again, I'm still working at a nice, consistent pace. All right, you'll notice that the tip of my pen is still flush with my client's face, and you want to keep it like that. If you're tilting your pen, you're not making any contact with the skin. So make sure that pen is not tilted, that is flush with the skin. Or I should say flush with the skin. All right, so what we do is we repeat all the way on the other side of the face here. Okay, so we progress probably about right here on the forehead. Okay, let's go ahead and finish the forehead there. moving at the same nice pace across the skin. Now the forehead is much more of a bony area than along the cheeks. The cheeks are more fleshy. So you want to make sure that your pin is actually not adjusted where it's tapping too hard onto the skin. We're at a 0.6, so we're okay there. But once you get to the cheek, if you wanted to adjust it to a 0.1 where that pin can tap a little bit harder onto the surface of the skin, you're good to go there as well. It's up to you as the therapist when we look at knowing our client's skin and understanding what the skin can tolerate. That's how we're going to determine how to adjust our pin for maximum results. We're working here and we're continuing to stretch the skin so that we can make maximum contact on the surface of the skin with the nano infusion tip. So I can feel here that I'm starting not to get as much slip and glide, so I'm going to add a little more serum here so that that serum can work into the skin and I can still have that slip and glide on the surface of the skin. This feels fantastic. All right, and I'm going to continue on to the other side of the face here. And you'll notice I am working in smaller sections. I'm not working all the way across the face. I'm breaking the skin up into sections, what feels comfortable to me as the therapist, holding her cheek. If your fingers do begin to slide a little bit, just pick up the fingers and readjust them on the skin so that you can continue to hold the skin taut. Now we're going to go ahead and include the other side of the chin. We've already done the top lip when we did the cheek area. If you have someone who has more of those little microcomedones, you can definitely concentrate around this area, but remember you do not want to induce sensitivity around that area. So make sure you're not concentrating too much just in this tiny little area. It can become sensitive quick. Okay? So we're going to use that same S pattern to finish off the jawline here for Andrea's treatment. And I saw there that I wasn't holding this taut, and you could see the pin kind of go down onto the skin. You just want to hold the skin taut and make sure you're just sitting the pin flush with the skin in order so it doesn't dig down into the skin. You should not be using pressure while applying the pin to the skin. All right, and here's our final section here. Now I want to just make sure we also worked in front of the ear on this side there to ensure a nice even treatment. All right, and that completes our nano for today. You would end your treatment with Dermalogica dermal layering. So it's up to you as the therapist and when we're looking at treating your client's skin concerns to determine which dermal layering product you're going to use on the skin. I have here some damp aesthetic wipes that I'm going to use to go ahead and remove any excess ion active serum from Andrea's skin. And we'll finish up with a multi-active toner. You can apply the toner of your choice depending on what your client needs for their skin. We're going to just let that rain down on the skin. Be generous with your toner, get that hydration into the skin. And then we'll start closing down the treatment with an application of skin smoothing cream. And of course, since it is daytime here in sunny Southern California, we'll be finishing up with our brand new pore screen. Pore screen is great for protecting the skin during the daylight hours of the day. really helping to bounce back that UV radiation because it is a physical SPF and it has those little color correcting pods inside that really help to even out skin tone. So this is awesome for someone who maybe has a little discoloration and they're looking to screen that a bit on the skin. As you can see, it looks wonderful on Andrea's skin.
Here we go. All right. I am Education Program Manager for Associated Skincare Professionals. We're going to go through a little risky business here and why insurance is so important for you, whether you are independent contractor, employee. We really encourage you to protect yourself. So today, what I'm going to share with you is some real life stories. Some of these pulled from our own headlines. Some of them are our own headlines, our own files. Some of them are pulled from the headlines. I'm also going to discuss 3 types of liability insurance needed in the beauty industry to truly be protected. And we're going to cover the steps to take if a client is injured, what you need to know, and the top 10 ways to risk. And section of my presentation, liability insurance. I'm going to discuss differences in insurance because not all liability insurance is the same. So do beauty professionals really injure clients? I wouldn't be here today if there were no injuries. So yes, accidents happen, clients do sue, and in any given month, we have about 250 claims that are open and active. And some of them can be minor, like a product reaction, but there can be major lawsuits that go on for a long time and cost a lot of money. The riskiest treatment, think about what is the riskiest treatment that we do as estheticians, and the answer may surprise you. It is waxing. So if you think about it, it makes sense. Waxing, it's an excellent money maker. It's fast, high profit service. It's great for add-ons, and it usually guarantees regularly booked visits from consistent clientele. But a wax claim, it can be minor, but it can be major. It can be lifting, tearing of the skin, and it can result in scarring. And I'm sure you guys can use your imagination. Think about what could be the most undesirable place to have skin tearing and scarring. So our average Brazilian waxing claim is $16,000, but we have had one that resulted in a torn labia, and that happened 1 week before a client's wedding, and that settled for $62,000. So this chart that I'm showing you here, this is the type of services that get the most and the least claims. So you guys can see hair removal is top, followed by chemical peels and facials. So liability insurance 101. What is liability insurance? It's a policy that protects you when you're being sued or you're being held liable for claims of negligence. In other words, you have damaged a person's property or you've caused injury during a treatment. And there are 3 types of liability insurance, and you want to be sure that they are included in the policy that you have. So number 1 is professional liability. This is coverage for when a client has been injured during the service you perform. So an example of this, we said waxing is number 1. This is going to be lifting, tearing of the skin, burns, or it could be something like pigmentation that happens during a chemical peel. Number 2 is going to be product liability. A client has suffered an allergic reaction caused from a product used on them or sold to them for home use. It also could be that the client did not understand instruction, misused that product, and now they have irritation or rash from that product. And number 3 is general liability. So a client has been injured, this is slip and fall, or it could be from faulty equipment. So think of glass falling from the mag light and it cuts the client, or steamer is spitting scalding water. It could be that you accidentally spill product on your client's Gucci bag that is resting near the treatment bed, and now you're liable to replace it. You have a general liability policy that's going to cover those types of incidents. So this is a real life story that happened to one of our ASCP members that I want to share with you. And on this particular day, our member was treating a client for both a massage and a leg wax. They were dual licensed. And during the massage, there was a massive lightning storm and they lost power in the building. The treatment room was an interior room with no windows, so they were in total darkness. Our member asked the client if she would reschedule the leg wax, but the client said she had a date that evening, of course wanted really nice, smooth legs. So our member lit a candle on a nearby table and finished up the massage. Now it's her routine that she cleanse her hands with rubbing alcohol after the massage. So as she's rubbing the alcohol on her hands, she sets the open bottle of alcohol on the bed next to the client, and the client didn't know it was there. And she moved slightly, just enough to spill the alcohol all over her décolleté and draping. Our member jumped to get the bottle and accidentally knocked over the candle on the table. And suddenly the client was on fire. It was total chaos with our member trying to beat the flame, screaming, trying to rip the flaming draping from her chest. But by the time they got things under control, the client had 30 burns all over her. The cost to settle this was $250,000 by the time it was all over. So really freak incident. Nobody expects something like this to happen. So what should our member have done differently? She should have insisted on waiting to wax until they had power back. Don't use anything flammable around a client, such as rubbing alcohol. And of course, no real candles. Fire's dangerous, and there are so many other LED options that look real, and there's no need for real candles. So I'd like to tell you about the most expensive claim that ASCP ever had. Our member saw a client for the first time who wanted to receive service, and the client had told our member that skin, she suffers from rosacea, and the client said she had visited a dermatologist because it was difficult for her to find a market that wouldn't cause her skin to react. That she even had a reaction to lipstick. Our member noticed that the client's cheeks and chin, they were red, a little swollen, and her skin appeared dry. And according to our member, there was no take completed by the client. Our member decided to give the client an organic chemical peel. During the treatment, our member noticed that the client was reacting to the product and thought the reaction seemed typical for someone who has rosacea. When the client said that her skin was burning, our member removed the peel, applied a calming product, and advised the client to stay out of the sun, and noted that her skin might peel a bit, but that this was normal. And our member thought her skin looked warm, but not red. The next day, the client called our member and said that her face remained very red after she left the spa. Our member kept in touch for several weeks with the client and reported that the client seemed fine. And several months later, our client did receive a letter from an attorney alleging that our member had negligently burned his client's face during the treatment and did include photos of his client with what looked like severe burns. The client had been hospitalized for several days while the burns on her face and her décolleté were treated. So to make a long story short, these demands escalated when the client alleged that the chemical makeup of her skin had permanently changed after the chemical peel, and she was continuing to experience rosacea flare-ups. So after a long process of claim investigation and unsuccessful mediation, the case did go to trial. And there was concern that the jury would be sympathetic because, as it turns out, this client happened to be a firefighter and a paramedic. So the jury did rule in favor of the client and awarded a large amount in damages plus attorney's fees. And litigation for this entire incident spanned over 5 years. The final payout between court costs, motions, mediation, attorney's fees, including the payout to the client, was $1.2 million. So there are 3 really good lessons to be learned here, and I bet you can guess what they are. But first, always complete a consultation form. So it may not stop someone from suing you, but it may help in your. And 2, know your products and protocols. Never perform an active treatment on a first-time client, especially one that has rosacea. And then 3, always perform a patch test, especially on someone with sensitive skin who's telling you that they react. And these lessons learned will not only protect you, but it's also keeping your client safe as well. So our member found this process very unsettling. They did not renew their membership with insurance. And nonetheless, the insurance company did pay every dime of the settlement, even though this litigation did span about 5 years. Now, sometimes things just go wrong no matter how careful you are. And these are the top 10 ways to reduce risk to your client and protect your career. So the first being maintain a safe work environment. So document regular safety checks, inspect tables and anything that's going to support your client. Keep your floor clear of potential hazards and obstacles. Maintain fire extinguishers, clean up spills immediately, and of course sanitize and disinfect as we do after every client. Routinely check your heat sources, so unplug heat sources, use battery operated candles, and make sure that all electronic cords are in good condition and know how to use your fire extinguisher. Number 3 is intake, health history, and waiver forms. Always have your clients complete a health history form before every treatment and not just once a year or always use consent forms, and this instills a sense of responsibility in the mind of the client. Number 4, always discuss potential risks or contraindications. So I encourage you to document and discuss with your client, follow the suggested protocols from your manufacturers, and be sure you're getting proper training. Be sure you're performing a patch test on your client. Number 5, keep records. So document each treatment given, which products were used, and refer to this prior to your client's arrival with every visit. And keep your client records for about 5 to 7 years in the event of late filed claims. Number 6, always use caution when applying heat. So this is going to include things like steamers, waxing chemical peels, which puts heat into the skin, hot stones, your towel warmers with hot towels, anything that could cause the skin to burn or where your client may allege they were burned. Use treatment precautions. Instruct your clients carefully on what they should expect and what they should and shouldn't do once they leave your treatment room. And you should provide both written and verbal instruction and make sure you're noting that. And then again, document those instructions. Number 8, build strong and professional relationships with clients. The strong communicative relationships with your clients. This is going to prevent a client potentially from suing because you develop a relationship there. Set realistic expectations for each treatment and build a treatment plan. And be sure you're documenting that. Ensure privacy through professionalism, never gossip. Number 9 is never practice unsafe procedures. So be sure you're knowing your state's scope of practice. However, state scope also is always changing. So be sure that you're staying up on that information. And when in doubt, refer out. So if your client asks about a service that you currently are not offering, either because you're not trained or it is out of scope, have somebody that you can refer them to. So let's say that you're following the top 10 ways to reduce risk and an incident still happens. So, no one intends to injure a client, but if the worst happens, these are the steps that you should take. Know what to do before an incident. Stay calm, and hopefully your client will too. Assess the injury and seek medical treatment immediately if warranted. Do not offer to pay for medical expenses and never admit fault or liability. Take photos and document the incident in writing, and then contact your insurance company as soon as possible. Follow up with your client unless you are directed otherwise by your insurance company, and never get angry or be defensive, which could be construed as fault. So this is a great time to discuss the difference between individual coverage and shared coverage. Now, if you find a company is charging very little, just be careful, because not all insurance is created equal, and you don't want to cheap out when it comes to protecting yourself and your career. So we know the competition out there, and most of the cheaper companies, they can knock their prices down because they offer what's called shared coverage. And what this means is that you're sharing your policy amount with everyone else that has that policy. So that would mean instead of saving that $1 million coverage for a full year just for you, it would be split between everyone who has also purchased that policy. So I just told you about one claim for one member that cost over $1 million. So if you're the unlucky one that opted for the cheaper coverage and you have a claim at the end of the year, it's possible that company might say, sorry, we've run out of money, and all other policyholders beat you to it and used it all up. So there would be nothing you could do because you agreed to a shared coverage insurance policy. So always best to have individual coverage. It means that $1 million aggregate is yours and yours alone. Also ask if the policy is a claims made policy or an incurrence form policy. So claims made coverage requires that claims be reported while your policy is in effect. If your policy has expired and someone makes a claim against you, even though you had insurance at the time of the incident, you will have no coverage because there is a lapse in your policy. The insurance company also has the right to refuse to renew your policy. So this could make it difficult to protect yourself. Occurrence form means coverage continues for incidents that occur while you were insured, even if a claim is filed at a later date when your policy lapsed. So with occurrence form coverage, should you have a claim filed months and months later, even though you no longer have a current policy, your policy will provide liability coverage for a covered claim. So occurrence form is always the best way to go. So ASCP membership, we've been around for more than a decade. We're the only all-inclusive source for liability insurance. We also have education, and we provide a community for estheticians. A little background on us, we got our start when our parent company began serving massage therapy. They've been around 32 years. And we noticed a meaningful portion of our massage therapists becoming dual licensed as estheticians. So we started ASCP in 2007 to serve the unique needs of estheticians. So our members are protected. We're providing liability insurance. It is a $6 million total aggregate policy. It's comprehensive coverage, including all the three types we just talked about: general, professional, and product liability coverage with no shared aggregate, and $2 million per occurrence, $6 million as mentioned total, individually for you. It covers professional, general, product liability, and the base benefit, it covers you wherever you work, no matter how many settings. And how else ASCP supports you, not just liability insurance, but we can also offer additional tools to help support you in your business and your personal esthetician. So we are providing education that includes techniques, knowledge, treatment room resources, business readiness, and so much more. And we provide this education through our ASCP Career Toolkit, our podcast channel, ASCP SD Talk, our award-winning magazine, ASCP Skin Deep Magazine, and ASCP Career Summit. This is our full day of virtual learning, as well as we have an on-demand video library. And ASCP Skin Pro is our latest resource. This is designed to aid you in skin analysis. It puts essential knowledge for contraindications and best practices for skin-related conditions and ingredients at your fingertips. So you can search ingredients and conditions and get information on indications, contraindications, treatment plan information, so that you can decide to move forward or not move forward based on the information given to you by your client. And Skin Deep Magazine, as mentioned, this is our award-winning magazine, and ASCP members will receive a print subscription. However, if you're not a member, you can also access this at no cost digitally when you go to our website. We also connect you with industry leaders and give you the opportunity to have your voice heard and questions answered through events like SD of the Year, Reader's Choice, ASCP Skincare Summit, where you can directly rub elbows and talk with the industry's biggest names. So thank you for sticking around. At ASCP, like I said, we are all about you, and you are our priority. So we do everything designed to support you and your success in the industry.
Thank you so much, Maggie, for that amazing presentation, and thank you to all of our presenters for the 2023 Dermalogica Career Summit. We are just so happy that you tuned in today, and for your next steps, we have created this great QR code that you can go ahead and scan, and this is gonna have everything that we talked about today, where you have more information on getting Dermalogica certified, all of those websites, so everything that you need. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in future career summits and Dermalogica trainings. Bye.